I hit the wrong thing! Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of our podcast. My name is Troy.
And I'm Jovan Lugo, but you could call me Gio because it's short and sweet, just like me.
Like the promo. I also don't know why, but like every time I get close to the microphone, I just want to like ASMR it. But like
Me too, but my mic's all the way over there, and I'm like, I ain't.
you can just like yell ASMR. It's just like, hello!
Hi,
Ew.
everyone.
Ew, it gets the job done. But we're here to talk about. I like that this is our second ever podcast, and we're already getting controversial. So love that. Love our brand. Also, before we start, I do want to say that the thumbnails will get better. Every time Gio and I do a podcast, my boyfriend takes a laptop and I can't edit thumbnails. So that's why they look like shit.
That's why.
I am talented in my editing skills. Just so you guys wait. But yeah, we are going to be talking about, like I said, some more controversial topics. We'll get deep into. I don't want to like tell you guys what we're going to get into and just let it flow. But Gio came to me with this idea, and I think it's such a lovely idea to talk about, especially with the world nowadays, and favoritism and racism in the drag community, that we're just gonna dabble on into the fandom. All of a sudden, like, we get 7 knives thrown at us, like, from across the world.
I'm ready. I have the dancing skills
You're roboting.
to avoid them.
Okay, so I guess you can just start us off with where we begin.
Okay, so our first topic of the day is Farrah Moan. So, as some of y'all know, it's just not spoilers anymore, because it's been a week.
If you haven't watched our first podcast, then you're fired from this one, so just kidding, stay. But go watch that one too, where we react to the queens. Yeah.
Well, Farrah Moan is part of the All-Stars 4 cast, which originally she was from season 9, which was 2 years ago. But recently she tweeted this tweet right here. I don't know if my mental health is at a point where I can handle another round of these fans and their hurtful opinions every week. I am nervous. I wish people looked at us as human beings with a passion for our art, instead of these disposable dancing monkeys here for your entertainment. Can't even have fun with the cast announcement without seeing hundreds of comments of people laughing at me and about how I am a waste of a spot. God damn it. Forgot how mean people are.
Oh, that's way sadder than I remembered.
It's so sad.
Yeah, this podcast is just to explain, not just to explain why she's an all-star, but to explain the reasoning for like any queen being on All-Stars being an all-star. First off, they are put on the show for a reason. Being cast for a major show like that, like being selected, like you're already an all-star, because how many queens audition year after year and do not make it? Like, you're already doing something better.
Yeah. And it's only 10 queens, unlike regular season, which is 12 or 14.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. It breaks my heart because Farrah has such a huge fan base. Like, she's doing something right.
She's very talented, very pretty, very fishy. She was known as one of the fishiest queens in season 9.
Oh, yeah, she's probably one of the... I mean, Naomi Smalls is up there, but she's probably one of the most beautiful to ever, like, walk the runway, by far. And, like, I know a lot of people will say, like, looks aren't... like, that's not a talent, but it is a talent because that's her makeup skill that's making her look... Like, she could look like this, like me. But no, she looks like that. That's talent. She's from Vegas, right? Like, she was a showgirl?
Yeah, I think she is a showgirl.
Okay. I think she talked about in her Meet the Queens that she moved to LA. Is she still, like, showgirling?
I don't know. I feel like just being drag is her full-time job right now, because that's a lot, especially now since it's All Stars 4.
Yeah, probably. But like, I don't know. It really, because we saw this last year with Aja, where I remember she got so much hate and people were like, "Why are you back?" Obviously, watching All Stars, we understand why she was back, because she fucking slayed it.
And so many people fell in love with her right afterward.
Oh my god, exactly. And like, I feel like a lot of people base their all-star worthiness just off of All Stars is like a redemption. I fucking hate myself. Redemption for queens. It's not for just like the best of the best. It's for like any queen. Ru says it like every season, who has more to show to their fans, to themselves.
Like even last year for All Stars 3, they introduced a redemption look, so they could redo one of their looks that wasn't the best.
And like Trixie did not have a good season on season 7. She kind of flopped. And on All Stars 3, we see how that happened for her. And I feel like Farrah Moan is way more than what was shown on her season. And just quit being mean, people. Damn. Let her live.
It's just so heartbreaking, because it's like, it happens recently. It's been happening more to a lot of queens, especially in All Stars, saying how queens don't deserve a spot in All Stars. But yet, I feel like whenever they're on the season, they show their best, because they have more money, they have more fans, they've grown a lot since their season. I just feel like it's so idiotic to think that them being on their season and not doing great does not deserve a spot in All. Because there is that balance, is like, because like Trixie wasn't an All-Star in her season, but she became an All-Star off her season. Same thing with Jasmine Masters. Like she was eliminated really early on her season, but
she did way worse than Farrah. And I don't see Jasmine getting all. I see so many people supportive, which I love, but like over Jasmine, who did way worse than Farrah. So I just don't understand like why people are just awful.
People are just mean and rude and should stop.
Yeah. Farrah Moan is there, obviously, like, she's an all-star, which segues us. Do you have anything else about the Farrah topic in particular? I
didn't write anything else.
So
Farrah is amazing.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm not even the biggest Farrah fan. Like, I like her. I don't dislike her at all, but, like, I don't understand why she's getting hate like that. Which segues us to the fandom.
The fandom itself. So, when you look back to earlier seasons of Drag Race, like specifically season 1 through 4, the fan base was very different back then compared to season 5 to 10.
Mm-hmm.
Just because, one, Drag Race wasn't as popular back then, and two, the drag has changed a lot since then, but I feel like the show should be separated from the drag in itself.
Yeah, and I feel like with the society we live in today, where like cancel culture is like so high, and where forgiving people is just not heard of anymore, like everyone is so I don't want to say butthurt, but like butthurt. Everyone just gets so offended, and no one like realizes with something like this, it's a TV show. Like, it's not the queens, it's not them. Like, it's a show that's been edited, that
they're competing, so they're obviously their mindset is a goal.
Yes. And it's just like, you see it all the time where like My whole screen went black. Can you take over for a hot second?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. So, for like seasons 1 through 4 specifically had such a different fan base because when they threw a lot of shade in those seasons, they didn't care because drag queens back then had was thought of as being shady but fun at the same time. If you could do that, you're a perfect drag queen.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't really do that now because if you do make fun of one of the queens who's your peer in the show, you could get hated by their fandom.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just... And it goes back to... Yeah.
I just don't especially with like one example would be Valentina and Nina Bonina Brown. Nina, it's not Nina's fault that Valentina did not know the words and got sent home. And I remember that night, Nina had to private all her social medias because people were just like, I mean, Valentina, like sending Valentina home is scary. And like for Nina, especially being a person of color, people were just attacking Nina's race. I remember before she like privated her account, the comments were just, it wasn't even like, it was strictly like the N-word repeated, or like, it was just so awful. And like, I don't know. I just don't understand why people send hate in those situations.
I remember one time, I think it was during All-Stars 3 because Kennedy got to the top, and
yeah,
I remember some people were calling her the N-word and giving her derogatory comments for being at the top, for playing the game right. And,
exactly, yeah.
And I remember one of the comments said something very derogative, and they got a reply saying, "Why are you being so mean? Like, it's just a show." And then they replied back saying, "Exactly, it's just drag." Like, what is that even supposed to mean? Like,
I don't understand. So it's like, all right.
Like, just because it's drag and it's because it's a show doesn't mean you get to say any racist comments, first off.
Mm-hmm.
Any hate towards the queen for playing the game, like Kennedy or Nina Bonina Brown. And it's just... So, because obviously it's not all of the Drag Race fandom, but it's that vocal majority.
It's a lot of people. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like for example, talking about how toxic people can be. I remember a couple years ago, I would do reviews for season 9, and I stopped halfway because just like every video that like got out there a little bit, we just like got swarmed with negative reviews, or like just making I don't understand, just because we didn't like agree with their choices, they get so like defensive. I still stand by, I did not like Eureka. I'm sorry. There's a big audience in season 9 that liked Eureka. Wasn't for me. But I remember people would like be so mean to us because we shared our opinions and all that. And like, that's what the internet's for, baby. Just share your opinions, but you can do it in a respectful way. Don't like send the queens the hate. Because like, you can talk, like if you don't like what someone's doing, you can voice it. Just don't voice it to them. Don't be rude. Like a podcast style like what we're doing. Sharing our input, not attacking the queen, just sharing how we feel.
Without going deep and attacking their human being.
Yeah, and everything we talk about, like revolving Drag Race in the future, like if we don't like somebody, it's strictly just on the show, and we're not going to send them any hate. Like, we don't like, just because I don't like Eureka on the show does not mean I don't like Eureka in real life. I mean, that's a bad example because it's Eureka. And
like me, I don't like Valentina in the show just because RuPaul favors her. At least in season 9, RuPaul really favored her, which is kind of like biased, something else. But outside of the show, I love Valentina in a way because she's just funny and different. She's not, because the way the queens are on the show is not the way they are offline, like not offline, off the show.
No, exactly. Yeah, it's a competition. Everyone's stressed. You want to like do well, and people act a certain way that they typically do not act, and like the edit can really fuck with a person. So, like Derek Barry, I remember Derek got such an awful edit, and like knowing Derek off the show, I don't personally know Derek, but like seeing Derek's such a meme and funny and just obnoxious, and like on the show he was portrayed as, this is coming from like Naomi Smalls like #1 stan, like I'm defending Derek. But like I don't know, I just
like, I guess like another example, which is a very controversial example, is Fifi O'Hara.
Okay.
Fifi O'Hara on the show was portrayed to be horrible, judgmental. Even in All Stars 2, she was portrayed that way. But when she's not on the show, she is very different. Like, she can have her moments, but she is, like, she's not the same person she is on. Because, like, I feel like, so they record the shows every 2 days. So that means they get the first day, then the runway's the second day. And then they repeat every day, Monday to Friday, for 2 weeks straight. So that means they're pressured nonstop, probably lack of sleep too. It's just too, like, one, it's not healthy for a body, but it is a competition. So all of that is going to incorporate into the show, which is, one, good for the show in itself, for the rating. But I forgot where I was going.
You were doing real good.
I know. I blanked.
But no, I also agree with the fact that I also blanked. The fact that I had a really good point. And then when you said blanked, I blinked.
So the girls are put in a lot of pressure, and for them to come out of the show and receive the hate they do is kind of unfair, because one, there's a lot of Drag Race fans who are the part of the vocal majority that are toxic, that don't know how the show runs in itself. Because as we found out during season 10 and through some of Willem's comments, the producers themselves have a lot to do with. And
even if a queen's getting a bad edit, like, would you rather like love to hate somebody, or would you rather just have a boring ass season where you're just like, okay, like I like everyone, this is okay. Like, even if you don't like the queen on the season, at least they're making it like Fifi. Like, from season 4, what's the most iconic thing you can remember is the Party City comment. Like, we wouldn't have that if Fifi wasn't a, quote, unlikable character in Drag Race. And, like, I feel now, going into Drag Race, people are more scared to be the villain because of how awful the fans can get. And season 9's a good example where there wasn't really a villain, and it was just kind of like got real boring. And I don't know, I'd rather have somebody be who they are. And that's why I like Vixen, because Vixen was who she was. She, in my opinion, might have went a little overboard in some situations, but at least it was entertaining. Like,
well, we could transition into the Vixen, talk about the Vixen, what she did.
Okay. So,
the Vixen was season 10, just off the season, off the fresh boat, after fresh tilapia. I messed up that quote. But the Vixen, I love the Vixen. Unlike Joy, like, I love with her.
I don't dislike the Vixen. Especially coming off the show, I feel like I'll get into that. You talk about your thing.
So I love the Vixen. I love how, because no one really talked about the racism on Drag Race except for people off the show.
Yes.
But the Vixen was the first one to bring it up. It might have been in an extreme way, but honestly, I feel like it had to be done. So it wouldn't be, it was edited to be edited in the worst way possible, because when she's bringing it up, it's really hard to like edit down 100, you know?
Yeah.
So that's why I really like the Vixen, because she finally brought it to light. It wasn't really talked about that much, because as you saw in the reunion, they didn't really care about that. Because one of the iconic moments I remember from season 10 is Aquaria crying.
Yes.
To the Vixen in Untuck. But the thing is that the Vixen at that moment, they brought up a good point where she's like, don't start crying, because all these cameras, without like this interaction, without them knowing anything, it's just a black person making a white person cry.
Yes. No, I really did like that. Like I said, some things she said, like the whole topic of racism in drag needed to be talked about on Drag Race, where the audience could, everybody, even people who didn't want to listen, had to hear it because it's on the show. I did appreciate that. I wish it came from somebody who was less hot-tempered and somebody who was more intellectual when they spoke about the issue. I definitely support everything she's saying, especially coming off the show now. Seeing how I don't know if you follow like any like Drag Race accounts that like talks about like the Vixen shades blank, the Vixen, or like if you follow her Twitter where you can like see her tweets. She's very thank you for why do I hear my whale?
What do you mean?
You're such a sweetie.
Thank you. So did someone donate? Because I literally just heard my whale.
I didn't see anything. I have the stream up and I didn't see anything.
Did you not hear the whale?
Mm-mm.
I'm so sorry. Hold on. While I investigate, you talk.
For me, the Vixen, because I followed the Vixen a lot. So after the show aired, like after an episode aired, I would go into the Vixen Twitter page just to see what she would say. And I agree a lot with her, because there's that one point. The whole Eureka and Vixen was one of the biggest dramas outside of season 10, I guess, because it wasn't really like it wasn't inside the show, but it also went outside the show. And there was moments where people would side with Eureka, but also would side with Vixen, and would just go back and forth. But I feel like one of the biggest things that came out of those two that confrontation is that it shows how the community in itself will just side with whatever is shown on the show without actually knowing anything else.
Yeah.
Because at some points, the only moment I remember people siding with the Vixen is when, and even then, it was still little, like just even a little bit, is because when that moment, I think it was the same episode with the Aquaria crying, it might have not been, where she's like, I'm gonna go get a smoke and stuff.
Yes.
Like the whole iconic like
with
go
Eureka,
get your secret because it's done.
Like those are iconic moments that like if it didn't happen, like the show would be more boring. Like I don't know.
That in itself, like Eureka admitted that he did that to the Vixen to like get her riled up. Mm-hmm. But then that's when people sided with the Vixen. But even then, they were like, the Vixen said, I came to fight.
Yes.
And they used that one quote whenever she would get mad and wouldn't justify her actions at all, especially during the reunion. Mm-hmm. When she walked out, people were like, she came to fight. That's so rude to leave. And it's those types of fans that I feel like held the show back. Or they, what's the word? It's not held. It's like the present tense of held. They hold the show back.
You did it. Before we continue, thank you so much, Kathy, for that sweet donation. I don't know why it didn't pop up on the thing, but I heard the whale. I was like, Thank you so much. It really means a lot to Gio and I, all your support and love. Thank you guys so much for all the love. Anyways, thank you so much, though, Kathy. It really means a lot. Anyways, back to the Vixen.
What's your... Before you...
No, I really, like you said, I love... I mean, I already I talked about I just wish that she... Because, especially what she does now, like, it just seems she comes for anybody now. Like, I saw her tweets about Lady Gaga and how Lady Gaga used to be for people of color and queer people, and now she's like dropped everybody. I just thought so fucking dumb. Like, literally, like, she was in The Star Is Born, so like you're just going to like attack. Okay, got it. I just wish that, like, because her doing things like that scares me, because for the racist community, they're just gonna like treat Vixen like, oh, it's Vixen, she's crazy, like her input doesn't matter, so they're gonna look at every topic she brought up as more of a joking matter due to how severe she gets now with issues that probably aren't that bad. I mean, she talks about very good issues and topics, but at the same time, she talks about issues that probably didn't need to be discussed. Like, Lady Gaga was a good one. I know she shades Taylor Swift. It's just like things like that. Like, I just don't understand, because it just makes the racist fans look at you like you're crazy, and it's not helping the issue. And I just wish somebody else who, like I said, who knew how to handle the situation a little bit more. I feel like the Vixen was hurt so many times by white people that it's just an internalized hatred, which I totally, like, white people fucking sucked back then. Like, I will, like, attest. Like, she has every right to, like, go off and, like let her voice be heard. I just wish she did it in better ways.
I feel like the Vixen, the white people haven't, because isn't she from Chicago?
But I'm from Chicago. Yeah, she's Chicago. Don't you remember her iconic everything was Chicago in her entrance? Like, she let you know.
Chicago is known to be very racist. I don't know if she grew up there, but I know she is from there, like, at least from the show point.
Mm-hmm.
So I could see where she's coming from, because she grew up in a very racist, like, community, most likely, because Chicago is one of those places where people of color are criminalized a lot more.
Okay.
Because unlike so she talks about that. I feel like that's why she's like, she just notices a lot more, or she notices a lot more things that white people do, in a sense where it hurts her. And I wish, like, speak out, queen, amazing, I love you. I just don't want people coming at you and calling you the crazy black woman or the angry black woman.
Yeah.
Just because you're speaking your mind.
Mm-hmm. No, I do really support the Vixen, and I have nothing but love for the Vixen. Exactly. But I do 100% agree. There is still racism in the world. I mean, there's still right here in our country, like, all over the place. There's people like that, and I very much loved that, especially in the gay community. There's a lot of racist gay people out there. A lot. Gay people, judgmental assholes we are. Like, God. No, I'm glad that she stepped up. I really am.
At least it brought it into the light, and hopefully it gets talked about a lot more.
Yeah, even if she didn't do it how I wish it would have been portrayed, I'm glad that it was brought up, because it caused discussion amongst everybody, and there's really good queens who spoke out I don't know if it was on the show, or I remember Monet speaking on the topic of racism. And I loved, like, what she had to say. I don't remember if it was on the show or a tweet.
I don't remember either. I think it might have been, like, off the show.
I really wish that was on the show, because I remember, like, whatever she said was just so well put together, and so it just really, like, it hit home with me, and I was just like, I felt the words she was typing. Yeah, the Vixen just really aggressive. Like, has nothing to do with color or anything, just an aggressive personality. That's just, like, I love for TV, like, bring it on. But
good, which is, again, like, people, let's say there's another aggressive queen in season 11. I just feel sorry for them because one, they do bring good TV, but two, the fans that are gonna attack them, it's gonna be horrid.
Yeah, and I don't know. I remember in season 7, which is the season I started. Hello. I remember whenever it was Kennedy, Jasmine, and Ginger. They were like the bitter old lady, or what was that? Something like that. I remember Jasmine and Kennedy got a lot of the hate. Ginger got hate, but not near as much as Kennedy and Jasmine. And if you rewatch the season, Ginger was like the main antagonist in that group. Like, Ginger was very shady. And that's just a good point of how racism still is in Drag Race, because by association, I mean, Kennedy and Jasmine were shady as well, but like they got
queens are.
Yeah, they got like the blunt of the hate, and Ginger didn't get that much, as far as I could see. Being on Twitter and seeing the tweets, I just remember a lot of Kennedy hate. Even on All Stars, I love Kennedy. Kennedy got so much hate. And I still don't understand. Like,
she's playing the game, and she's obviously playing it good enough to get to the finale.
Yeah. And it's not Kennedy's fault that, like, she made it that far. Like, it's the show's format. If you want to be angry at something, be angry at how the show's running things and not angry at the queens, because it's not Trixie's fault. Even though I'm not a big Trixie fan, it's not her fault Shangela was robbed. It's the format of the show.
Even BB BB All Stars 1 win. I mean, season 1 winner.
Also, apparently came back and won All Stars 1.
It came back as a surprise for All Stars 3. Surprise.
Yeah. It was like, just reveal her with everyone else. Everyone knows.
Yeah. And this goes back to, like, the way the old seasons were to the new season. A lot of people who watched the old seasons knew BB as someone who, like, appreciated her country, talked about her, like, where she came from and where she grew up, and, like, that's her drag a lot too. And she's very, coming from an earlier season, she is very, like, drag queenish. Like, she's not trying to look fishy because she is a drag queen.
Yeah.
And All Stars 3 just showed also, like, how even a winner cannot, like, be safe from the community, because BB got far and so much hate got towards her because she got far. Even just her being on the show brought up a lot of hate.
Same with Manila and Latrice when they got revealed. If you go on their Instagrams and look at the comments, a lot of the comments are just like, why is she here? I don't understand. It's like, it's not that big of a deal, Brian. If someone's name is Brian in the that's watching this, I'm not adding just you. I'm sorry.
Even Shangela, before All Stars 3, Shangela came back 2 times for season 2 and season 3 of Drag Race.
Yes.
But her coming back is always a joke. She is the first queen to ever come back to the show. But her coming back for All Stars 3, right before it aired, there was a lot of hate as to Shangela as to why she's coming back, because they're like, she's been back too many times, people deserve it. But because they saw her through the show and how cool she is,
it wasn't a big deal at the end when she was robbed and everyone was like, she deserved that win. But at the beginning of the season, I remember so many people who didn't know Shangela were just like, this isn't fair, blah, 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 she's been on. Like, no, if they're entertaining, you're going to enjoy them being on. Like, just, it's okay. Brian, adding you again.
And obviously, like, Shangela is a good example of, like, how quick people are to judge, especially Queens of Color. Just being on the show.
Yeah.
And get so much hate. And it's not until after they show, like, it's that thing of, like, people of color have to work 10 times harder. They have to work 10 times harder to even get noticed. And this is one of those examples as to the fandom being so toxic that they didn't even want Shangela in the season until the season aired.
Yeah.
And she showed her talents. And honestly, if Ben was not there, she deserved, like, to win.
Oh, 100%, yeah.
Because she just worked so hard to get to where she is. And all her years of experience, like, helped her. And people don't realize that. They just see the show.
Mm-hmm. Now, I just wish people... I guess the main message is I just wish people would the whole point of drag is to break barriers and to just, like, celebrate us, celebrate LGBT people, celebrate people of different backgrounds, let us all come together and have fun. And people take it so serious that it just ruins the fun for everyone else. Like, it gets to the point where queens do not want to be themselves when they come on the show because they're scared that people will hate them, and you don't get to see their personality. Like Cameron, who's so shy on the show, didn't want to say anything. And then off the show, I love Cameron. Like, Cameron's so funny. And just
amazing queen. Like,
yes,
her
we didn't get to see that personality on the show because she was scared, because the fandom's scary.
If I ever go on a Drag Race show, obviously, I would be so scared.
We love season 13's winner, Gio.
Season 13, right here, baby. I'll skip season 13 and go straight into All Star 6.
You're just gonna show up. Just hello. I wasn't on your show before, but here I am on All Stars. Got it.
But yeah, it's just, what does it say?
Do you have anything on your list that you haven't talked about? Because I know how awful it is when you write shit down and then you get off the stream and you're like, fuck, forgot that.
Let's see. Differences between all. So this goes back to the Farrah Moan.
Wait, you cut out for a hot second. What was it?
The differences between the All-Star season.
Oh, okay. What's different between season 1 of All-Stars, 2, 3, and now 4?
Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
So, as I don't know if many people know, but All-Stars 1 was a poll as to, like, what queens wanted
I just imagine, like, a stripper poll. Like, that was the whole show. If you haven't seen it, you just missed a good show.
The best show. But yeah, All Stars 1 was done through, I think it was, obviously it had to be an online poll.
Probably like a Facebook online poll.
Yeah, I don't know how they did
first got like third. And if Mimi I'm first got third in the Facebook poll, on a poll, it's on Facebook.
Yeah.
That's the key.
The water tea.
Actually, I love Mimi now. She's an all-star queen now.
Yeah, like, so the difference between at least the first All-Stars compared to the other one, other than people not liking it, is that the first All-Stars was done through a poll. So that means the first top 10 queens who won the poll were gonna be in All-Stars if they were available, of course.
Yes.
And so
that's
we got
cool. I wish they do that now.
So I don't know why they stopped it, because after because between season 1 and 2, it was a 4-year gap. Because it was right after season 4, All Stars 1 appeared, and it was right after season 8, All Stars 2 appeared.
Yeah.
So it was a 4-year gap, and what's crazy is that fans got to choose the top 10 queens who you wanted to be on Drag Race, and at that point it was only 50 queens. So it was very like.
That's weird that some of those queens. Interesting.
Interesting how they got.
Interesting how like everyone's an all-star, like I said earlier, but some people have bigger fan bases than others, and I don't know.
Well, talking about that is like the group of fans of Drag Race was very different between All Stars, like back then to now. Because people started watching Drag Race around season 7, 8.
Around when I started, I remember like, because I never saw tweets about it, and then season 7, I just remember like there was tweets everywhere, and I was like, okay.
Especially, so it becoming popular helped it. It moving to VH1 for season 9 helped it a lot.
Oh my god, that's when I really saw the mainstream come in. Like I came in at 7, and I remember at 7, a lot of people came in, but it was still like it wasn't like what it is today by any means. Like season 9, whenever it hit VH1, was just
it was out of the roof. It was like the best season of Drag Race up till then. And so a lot of the fandom was different back then, especially for All Stars 1. So I feel like back then when they voted, they actually voted for people who they think would have been good to see on TV.
Okay, not like their quote favorite, just like the most entertaining. Okay.
Well, now I feel like if they did another type of poll, it would
just be fan favorites.
It would be fan favorites.
You wouldn't get the Vixen. You wouldn't get like any queen that causes like a stir. You would just get like all the quote like Miss Cracker is probably going to be number 1.
Miss Cracker, and if they're bringing back winners and all that, not Valentina, Aquaria.
Yes.
Like all those types of people would be back.
It'd just be a cast of like just the skinty white pretty girls, and like that's not fun. That's not what we want to see.
And that's why I don't. So people say them picking is very. It's hard. It's a hard topic, as in like, if the fans pick, they could pick like All Stars 1 and pick good people.
Yes. Or
it could just be like fan favorites. But if the producers pick who they want, it goes into more like, oh, this is going to cause drama with these people, so we're going to join them together in All Stars in a season, and they really just could put anyone in, but also they know who's not like popular, and they could make a queen popular again.
Yeah, I just. Monique Hart needs to be celebrated way more. Is the point of whatever I'm talking about? It always Monique is the best, okay, and she needs to be celebrated way more. Y'all,
I love it.
Where's my camera? Right here. Hello. But yeah, All Stars 1 was. I kind of like that format. All Stars 2 was probably the best.
I think it's the best season just in Drag Race.
Oh, so good. So good. I remember when this episode Fifi left and Alyssa and Tatiana were brought back together. I remember sitting in my boyfriend's living room with his dad, and I remember his straight country dad was just cheering them on, and he was like, oh, who's going to win? I don't know who's going to win. They're both doing great. And I was just like, oh my God. Because I love them both. And then when they both won, such a good show. Such a good season.
That was like, you cannot recreate a season like that. It was just amazing.
Oh yeah, no, yeah. I feel like
Yeah.
All Stars 3 coming off of that was this is a video. My whole screen went black again. This is a video on its own, just like All Stars 3 coming right after All Stars 2. Not right after, but like it was the next All Stars and how.
And now they're gonna have it every year.
Yeah.
But that could be a different topic.
Yeah.
'Cause I have a lot to say about that.
Same. Do you have anything else on your list? I like your flag, by the way. He was very I'm gonna show you guys his flag. Oh, wait. We still love the other colors on the flag. I just couldn't fit them all into the thing. But yeah, there's black, brown, and red. I had to get rid of those for this.
Listen, it's the best.
I have nothing on my wall, but hello.
You have your great background.
Thank you. I have my Mario and Peach poster thingy right back there, but other than that, it's boring, like me.
Never. Rue, never.
Root sometimes.
But one last topic we could talk about is the fandom itself just changing to when it changed to VH1 brought a lot of new type of people that before they didn't know anything about drag, but those people also think that drag is what Drag Race is.
Yeah, people that they don't go to drag shows. They just drag is literally what they see on their TV. Yeah, the community. It's not just like gay men anymore. It's like you straight women, straight men. I follow a straight couple that literally just all they talk about is Drag Race, which is exciting to see. But at the same time, like those are people that. You need to go celebrate your drag queens, guys. Go to bars. Go
Tip them.
Yeah, tip your drag queens. Always. Hello, me. No, but always, yeah. Drag is so much more. There's so many other types of drag than what's on Drag Race. There's bearded queens. There's
Drag kings.
Drag kings, which need to be... that's a topic of itself, is how we need some drag kings or a competition on drag kings, because I'm here for that.
Actually, and there's a lot of trans queens. I don't know the right term for... It might be faux, it might be bio queens. I'm sorry. I don't
know bio queen. I feel like people get offended by everything. We're not meaning it offensively if you do not like the term bio queen. But it's female doing female interpretation drag.
Yeah.
We need to see more of that.
And so Drag Race Thailand, I don't know if you've ever seen it.
I have, and I love it.
I love it because it's so accepting of everything.
Mm-hmm.
Unlike Drag Race America.
It's just America, anything is just so like... Yeah.
Because even, I don't know if you noticed, but they opened the cast list for Drag Race Thailand 2. And there was a video going around of, I forgot their names, or Arya, or like, the main host of the show. And they were like, you could be whatever, gender, you could like whatever, just come audition and you have a chance to be on the show. And that shows me how more progressive they are than the US one.
Yeah.
Because
I mean, we have RuPaul literally tweeting himself, like, comparing trans drag to Olympic sports. And you have stuff like that compared to over in Thailand, like, accepting all people. It's just you can very much tell who's more progressive.
Yeah, like even not saying like even Drag Race in itself has been a lot of winners and no big queens have made it to the end but not win.
That's a video on its own. How Latrice, or that's actually spoiling a season 11 rumor. But there's some queens that really deserve a fucking win. Not even just based off the fact that they're bigger. And also, there's like one big queen, if that, a season. Like, we need diversity, not just in race, but like body types is such like, there's so many bigger drag queens that are fabulous, and I feel like they only it's like Big Brother. They only cast like one gay guy a season, and like they only cast like one or two black people a season. They never cast more than that, and it's like
it's your token character.
It's like we need I want to get away from the word token in shows like that, because that does nothing but like show that's a minority. Like, there's only one of them.
And for big queens, they get a lot of hate as well, just for being big.
Yeah.
I feel like the only queen, even then, I don't know, because I don't follow her a lot and look at her comments on that. I feel like the only queen that is kind of an exception to that doesn't get a lot of hate for being big is Latrice.
Yeah, and a lot of the celebration, which I'd rather have celebration than hate, but like a lot of people love her because she's big and loud and fun, and like I love that, but she's so much more than just a big queen. Like, she has so much to offer if you watch season 4. And I like Latrice is a good one, because I feel like Latrice was in the competition to win, not like how Ginger brought it up a couple times, how she wants to be the first big queen to win. Latrice was never about like, I'm big, so I should win. And I really like that. I really like that she wasn't using her size to move. I don't even know what I'm rambling on about. I just love Latrice.
As a big queen myself, which is why I'm hiding my body.
Like, if you deserve to win, you deserve to win regardless of size. And why we do still need a bigger queen to win. Yes. Like, love that. Like, I want it to be a deserving person. Who even is a deserving person to win Drag Race anymore? It's so like,
that's a video topic on
that's
itself.
A video topic. We're getting into topics that we need to talk about in other videos.
But like, I feel like Ginger would have been a good one, maybe, like, because she did make it towards the end.
Oh yeah, Ginger's definitely raw. Like, if you look at like the statistics, I think she was either better than Violet, or like she was right up there. Yeah, I don't understand why she didn't win. I also, maybe it hit RuPaul the wrong way, that she was just like, we need to supersize our drag superstar, and I want to be the first big girl to win, and like, I don't know why. I don't know.
Whoever knows what RuPaul's.
We need RuPaul as a guest, just to be like, the fuck?
Like, what are you thinking? Like, tell me the tea as to why you're
Let us inside your head. Like, no, if Michelle just took over, that's a topic in its own. I would love Michelle Visage's Drag Race.
Me too. Hopefully with the rumors of Drag Race UK, hopefully. She is. But yeah, it's like me being a big queen. Whenever I like go in drag, one of the insecurities I have is looking big, and so I always have to try to look skinny.
Yeah, why can't we celebrate? People like to like come for people with some love on them instead of celebrating them, and it's like, fuck you, Brad.
Because I might.
Fuck you.
Like, I say I'm a good drag queen just because I'm funny.
Yeah.
But the one thing that people are going to look at me is, oh, she's a big queen, she can't do much. And that's very, like, part of the toxic fandom, as in, like, just in general, they look at someone and they judge them by that without actually knowing or looking at them. Yeah.
No, I agree completely. Do you have anything else on your list before we bring her on home? Also, I love that literally you're wearing blue, your pillow's blue, your blanket's blue, the blanket over there is blue, the sheets are blue, the tote's blue, your bed frame's blue. Like, everything is fucking blue on your thing. They can't see everything, but just know that all his things are blue.
Do you know what my favorite color is?
If it's not blue, everything is blue. I also like that blanket. It looks soft.
This one? This is a Mexican.
Is that the blue blanket?
You mean this blanket?
Yes.
Is that Spider-Man? I've had this since I was a baby. Listen.
It looks soft.
It is. But this is warm.
Oh. But yeah, I mean, that's all I had to say. Unless you want to come for my looks.
Okay, Troy, your hair is slutty, your eyes are funky, and your mouth too small.
When Chase's mom cut my hair, she cut it and then she goes, because if you guys do not know, my boyfriend's mom broke her foot. She cut my hair and she couldn't really move around because her foot's broken. And she looked at my hair after it was done and she goes, "That was a shitty ass haircut." And I never saw it at that point. So I looked in the mirror and I go, "Oh, love that." It's okay.
She tried.
Yeah, keyword, try. Also, speaking of the word try, make sure you guys try and be a little nicer to your drag queens. Just, if you have opinions, don't at them. They don't need to see the opinion. They're on the show.
Or at least be constructive.
Constructive criticism is way better than, "I hate you, you're awful, die."
Racism.
Racism. Just like reply to the queen with racism. No, but yeah, be respectful and nicer to people. Farrah Moan's a fucking all-star. They're all all-stars. Even fucking Jasmine Masters. She's an all-star.
That's another topic in itself. Like, some queens make themselves an all-star off the show.
Yes. Even if you don't like a queen, that does not mean they're not an all-star. So.
I can't do it. Wait.
Oh! You all wanted a twist, eh? But yeah, thank you guys so much for attending our off season. I like that we're already in off season and like we haven't even like this is our second podcast and we're like, this is off season. We will be back next. We're gonna try like around the Thursday, Friday, Saturday mark. Until the show airs, we'll probably have something out at least once a week. Issues, if you guys have an issue that you want us to discuss, make sure to comment below. Or if you just like seeing our faces, then hello, we're here for you. You can also follow our social media. Oh my god, the glasses came off.
The glasses are off and
the haircut is fresh.
Ugly, and the forehead be shiny.
But yeah, Gio and I are both Twitch streamers. Dancer Gio on Twitch. Mine is Troy Young Games. Yeah, make sure to go follow our Twitch accounts. Give us all the love. Give us all the money. No, I'm just kidding. Or am I?
I'm like, I mean, tip your drag queen. Am I right?
Tip your drag. Gio and I also on Twitch. Every $100 that either I make or he makes. I'm just telling him if he makes $100, we're doing fucking drag.
I did not know this until right now.
We do a drag lip sync for your life. So if you guys want to see us in full drag, make sure to come and yeah, support your drag queens.
Like and share the video.
Do that too. Do you have anything else before we bring ourselves home?
Be nice. That's it. Like,
you guys are getting
nice
the finger.
People.
You guys are getting the fingers.
Be nice to people.
Oh, he's getting close to the camera. Oh, if you guys are just like, if this is on your nightstand and you couldn't see what he's doing, he got close to the camera.
I got.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for all watching. Make sure to give a big like and make sure to subscribe. Hell yeah, because we'll have more. We still need channel art, and I promise the thumbnails will look better whenever I get that laptop. Also, that fuzz that went across your screen was iconic.
That's the real winner of All Stars 4.
That fuzz that just went across, winner. But yeah, we'll see you guys all next week with a new topic. So yeah.
Remember, it's just drag.
It's just drag. Peace.
Peace.
Pieces and lemons and squeezes and that was really fucking gay. Bye.